The Legend of Zelda Oracle of Seasons and Ages are without a doubt two of my favorite handheld Zelda titles. And that's not simply because I didn't tend to play a lot of handheld games, but it was half of the reason. The other half was because they were just two amazing games. The two games shared similarities, sure, but each one could stand alone as a worthy entry in the Zelda series. And as if being great games wasn't enough, you could connect them with passwords and unlock things. And get a true ending. With passwords. That was called something when I was a child. Magic. The two games were truly magical. But ages ago, in seasons long past, this duo of magical games was once a trio, that of power, wisdom, and most important of all, courage. So today on Gaming Mysteries, I'll be talking about The Legend of Zelda, the mystical seed of courage. Now our journey begins with Capcom, so everybody hold on to your seats. Yoshiki Okamoto of The Big C approached Miyamoto with the idea of remaking the original Legend of Zelda for the Game Boy Advance, and Miyamoto, loving candy, said sure, and that if the game was successful, Capcom could go on to create a more ambitious Zelda sequel, which would be built from the ground up as its own new Zelda game. And that's a solid plan, but many members of the development team didn't really agree with Okamoto's plan. They wanted to skip the remake entirely and just start creating a new Zelda title as soon as possible. With that in mind, they began having Capcom's subsidiary Flagship start to work on the game's scenario, coming up with the story and characters for the new game, while another team worked on the gameplay. This would end up causing some issues down the line in development, as assets would need to be changed to fit the direction of the story, for example. And the team also ran into another issue with the Game Boy's narrow screen, which made it so rooms couldn't be fully viewed at one time, which would cause players to overlook certain elements that they would otherwise kind of need to see to solve puzzles and whatnot. The project was struggling, Okamoto and friends needed help, and of course, they summoned the one man who could help them, Miyamoto. And so Miyamoto descended from the heavens, as he always does. And he said, more or less, look, I want to do a trilogy of games. Those things you were doing, we'll take some assets from them, but otherwise, no. And this trilogy is going to be called the Triforce series, with each game, of course, representing a piece of the Triforce: wisdom, power, and courage. The game that was originally to be a remake of the original Legend of Zelda instead became the Chapter of Power, later called the Mystical Seed of Power, and said game would be action-based. The title was first displayed at Space World 1999 with a demo. It allegedly featured Princess Zelda, who had been captured by Ganon, and Ganon stole the Rod of Seasons to throw all the seasons into chaos and ruin everybody's day, all while sending Hyrule Castle and the Rod into another realm. Link was then seen using the rod to manipulate the various seasons in order to solve puzzles and perform Zelda-related tasks. Now, the Chapter of Power, or Mystical Seed of Power, was the only game displayed in 1999, but the trilogy was made known. Besides Power, we were to get the Mystical Seed of Wisdom and Courage, or the Chapter of Wisdom and Courage. The names were changed, you get the thing. Each was going to have their own gameplay elements, though, like that seasonal rod, and each were to focus around their own goddess. The Seed of Power would follow Din's storyline and revolve around the changing of seasons. The Seed of Wisdom would feature Naru, though in a much different role than the one she was given in her final release. For in the final product, she played a magical harp of magic. But here, she plays a magical paintbrush, less musical, and you would use it to paint and solve colorful puzzles. I would have sucked at that. And last but not least, Courage would feature Faror, and also feature a gameplay mechanic similar to that seen in Ages, though rather than traveling years through time, you'd just be able to change the time of day. And that would be all there is to say about the trilogy, but they wanted to go big. And so the games would be developed in a fashion that would allow you to play the games in any order, receiving a password, going to another game, and inserting the password into that game, and that would unlock new bonus content and eventually a true ending. And all of that is nuts. That's such a ridiculously cool concept for a trilogy of Zelda games. Being able to share aspects of your journey through 3 cartridges is something I can't even really wrap my mind around. and evidently the developers were running into the same thing I was. See, the password system worked because it was simple, but it only remained simple between 2 games. With a third in the mix, it proved to be way too difficult to accomplish. And it didn't exactly help that with the Game Boy Color's lifespan nearing its end and development time running thin, Nintendo had to make a call. They were running out of time. So Nintendo ultimately made the decision that linking 3 games together would be far too complex of an endeavor given their time span. And so they consolidated their combined assets into 2 games. Those games would of course become the Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons, with the Mystical Seed of Courage left to have its ideas incorporated into these other titles. Now, since at the time the original Legend of Zelda remake that Capcom was working on had work done on it, Nintendo decided to incorporate some of its templates and assets into Oracle of Seasons, and ye old Zelda fans can probably spot the various similarities to the original game within Seasons. And you may also remember the magical weather rod that he kept for this version too, giving us the Oracle of Seasons. As for the Mystical Seed of Wisdom's transition to Ages, the painting aspect ended up being dropped, with Nintendo instead using the concept of time that was originally to be displayed in the Chapter of Courage. Only rather than traveling between day and night, you'd travel between thousands of years. This is the Deja Vu section of the video. This of course left Faror with nothing to do. I mean, they kind of ditched the paintbrush thing, so I'm sorry about that. On the bright side, though, I'm never quite sure I'm pronouncing your name correctly, so we'll always have that. But that was The Legend of Zelda and the Mystical Seed of Courage. To this day, people still debate what the title would have looked like and played like, but since the game allegedly never got that far into development for screenshots to even be produced, you guys will probably have to keep on speculating. On the bright side, we got 2 kick-ass Zelda games for the Game Boy Color. Sure, we missed that 3rd game, but with elements of that title being fused into the other games, we kind of got the 3rd game. We didn't, but in spirit, we also didn't. This has been Gaming Mysteries. Thanks for watching. Hey guys, Yuriofwind here. It's Endslate. Welcome to Endslate. You just watched the Gaming Mysteries on The Legend of Zelda, The Mystical Seed of Courage, a game I've been meaning to talk about for about 4 years, and then didn't. And then Did You Know Gaming mentioned it the other day, and then like my heart sank. Yeah. Cause, I don't know. But it's all good. Anyways, Endslate, let me tell you about that. I'm not going to make this a super long Endslate, really, because I've been gone for a little while, so I don't want to bother you guys with my nonsensicalness today. Next time, though, I think you're going to like it, because I found something stupid, which means we know where we're going. So let's just go ahead and recommend the videos. One of the videos I would like to recommend, one of the videos I would like to recommend is the last video I did on this channel. What video could that be? Why, it's a Gaming Mysteries on Marble, a canceled fighting game that was canceled. Perhaps you would like to go watch that. You can check on the you can check on the thing. You can click on the thing also, or maybe you can check it. I don't know. YouTube could have changed. As for the other thing, well, I've done something bad. I did something that everyone does at least once in their lifetime. I hit my hand on my desk again. And also, I started a Let's Play of Pokemon Yellow. That's over on the Gameplay channel, which I never tell you guys about. But, yeah, I started that, so if you want to go check that out, I'll be updating that in a few days, hopefully. As always, if you like the content and the videos, and you want to subscribe and hang around, that's appreciated, and also, I want to thank you guys for being really patient with me. I know it's a little difficult to follow a YouTuber who's, what did my doctor say, manic depressive, anxiety thing, a fucking mess, but thank you, it does mean a lot. So until next time, it's a stupid story, you guys are gonna really like it, seriously, the Endslate went on for too long, I gotta go, bye, I love you guys, bye.